This is On the Porch, RVA, where every episode features observers discussing life. We agree and we disagree. So we invite you to take part as we discuss current events and no telling what else. Whether the conversation is bad drivers, politics, or even earthworms, everyone has an opinion and is welcome to express it. Life is an adventure to be shared and celebrated here on the porch.
Hello and welcome to the Porch, RVA. I want to welcome you and I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. This is Paige.
Hi.
And Paige Quilter is a longtime friend, and I'm going to look forward to hearing you introduce yourself and telling us a little bit about yourself. But let me go with what I know. And then you fill in the gaps as you see fit. Because, let's see, I know that you have been in the neighborhood for a very long time, as I have been in the neighborhood for a very long time. And I met you through your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And you were busy about town, taking care of business. Mm-hmm. Insurance, I learned recently. All this time I thought that it was real estate, but it was insurance. I know you're taking care of your mom now, and I know that you have fallen in love with Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, trying to think of whether you have a dog or a cat. I don't think you do.
No pets.
Have you been talked into getting a horse yet?
No.
You haven't?
No.
As many times as you've been to visit in Texas, you haven't been talked into getting a horse yet?
I don't think they'd let me have it in my backyard. And they eat too much.
They do eat. They do eat a lot. They do. Not as much as a big dog, but yeah, or a big cat. Producer John wants to get a big cat. He wants to have a puma or a lion or some ridiculous thing like that, and I keep pointing out how much you'd have to feed them. Let's see. You have some grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's start with you telling us about your grandbabies.
I have two grandbabies, a grandson he's 6 now, and a granddaughter who'll be 11 next month down in Texas. And 3 girls of my own, a set of twins in there. But my grandbabies are my pride, joy, my life, my heart, my soul.
I love seeing pictures of them, but 11, my goodness, time flies
so fast.
Oh,
But
yeah,
she rides. She's a barrel racer.
Wow!
Yeah, she does barrel racing. So.
Excellent. I follow a couple of barrel racers. I'd be interested in seeing some of the footage when she gets into competitions.
Yeah, and
That's
she's
cool.
Miss Ag 23-24 for the FFA group there and outside of Carillon,
Wow.
Texas. So yeah, it's just little Miss Ag.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And Carillon is an interesting area. I lived there for a while.
it's very interesting.
A long time ago.
Not a lot to do.
Not a lot to do. No.
And hot.
Ag is where it's at.
Yeah, and it's hot in Texas. That's the only thing that keeps me from wanting to move anymore. It's just too hot.
I was going to ask you if that was the tipping point.
That's the tipping point.
In that decision making. Yeah.
You know, I can't take 90 days of over 100 degrees straight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't mix well with my constitution.
That's enough to make you fall out of love once you've been down there for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and jump in the questions that I have.
Okay.
Okay. And so my first one is, what book do you wish you could read again for the first time, not including scriptures or Orwell's Animal Farm, but something that had an impact on you that you wish you could just forget that reaction and read it again and experience it all brand new again.
Oh my gosh, that's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read a whole lot lately. Been too busy. Plus, everything's on. You can get it on the movies on Netflix.
Yes, that does make a difference. It does make a difference.
Wow. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm. And I
could say something goofy like 50 Shades of Grey, but
I did spring it on her. I will let y'all know that I did not give her the questions in advance.
No, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I read all kinds of books when I was in the financial industry, but that kind of helped.
All the work stuff.
Yeah, you know. But
yeah, reading for pleasure, even when we're in school, reading for pleasure is still reading for the grade.
Right.
And reading to survive.
Right. Right. And I'm really particular about what I read, so I've stopped reading a whole lot. Mm-hmm. But I'm a needlepointer, so instead of picking up a book, I'll pick up a needle and some threads and start stitching.
Well, you've got more to show for it afterwards.
Exactly. Exactly. It's therapy.
Okay, now I'm going to go into a deeper question here.
Oh, boy.
Okay. What was your darkest day? And I'm not looking for the nitty-gritty. I'm not looking for a lot of detail. But the reason I'd like for you to tell us your darkest day is so that you can also tell us how you came out of it. What was it that made the difference for you to be able to put it behind you?
Well, it was probably when my former husband died. You know, he was a very ill man, and it was very tragic that he passed away the way he did. And my first thought was how to get my kids through this. Mm-hmm. And I learned a few things about myself, and I tried to rethink how I deal with them and deal with others. And I think it was like a light bulb going off in some ways. Because other than my dad, I hadn't had anybody really, really close pass away. Mm-hmm. So I think that was it.
Yeah, I remember when your dad passed. Yeah. And then to think of it in the terms of what are the kids going to need? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was practical stuff.
My oldest child was 8.5 months pregnant when he passed away and couldn't be here. And so, a lot of little things you don't think about. Mm-hmm. When someone passes away, you really start to think, oh my gosh, how am I going to handle this? Yeah. What do they need? What do I need? My needs kind of went to the back burner and trying to help them. But
it was still bits and pieces, and focusing on a piece and then focusing on the next piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep life going.
Being practical. Yeah. Keep life going. Thank you. That's good advice, though.
Yeah,
That's good advice, because it's so easy to get completely turned around.
Or to mire in your sorrow and depression and, I've always been one let's get going. We got to pick our bootstraps up and keep on rolling.
I've always been a wallower, so I can't relate to that at all.
I try not to. I don't know. That's just always the way I've been.
Okay. So now we haven't talked about what you do, what keeps you so busy, but what motivates you. Just your sheer motivation. What motivates you to do what you do every day? When you get up in the morning, what is it that gets you out of bed?
Getting through that day.
That day.
Yeah, everybody's got to-do lists, and the older I get, the more Post-its I have saying what I need to do.
Yellow stickies rule the world.
Yeah, And schedules now are more important. I know what I have to do. I can do on Mondays. I know what Tuesdays is my day. I go and I'm needlepoint with my friends on Tuesdays. And then, if I've got meetings in the evening, Wednesdays is the day the hospice comes to see my mom and, other things. But I've become, in my job, I was a big planner, and I'm even more of a planner now. So, I get up every morning, I have my coffee on the front porch and talk to the squirrels and the birds.
That is life.
And
that is the good
there's
life
cardinals
right
there. That is
yes.
one particular one that I say good morning to. And, I say thank you for getting me through another day. Help me get through this one.
There's a robin that I talk to when I'm out there doing yard work. That robin follows me around to see if I've unearthed any worms.
Oh, they're greedy little things, aren't they?
They are. And so the day-to-day can be pretty darn demanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just, I've found the older I get, the more I have to push through. Mm-hmm. If there's stuff I need to do and I don't want to do it, if I push through it and I stay on task, I can get it done. Whereas when my kids were younger, you become a blithering idiot. You got to get this cleaned and this laundry done and go to the store. And you're just like, oh, God, if I've got to get in the car one more time. But now, you got to get those tasks done, because the quicker I get it done, the quicker I can needlepoint, or the quicker I can cook something, or...
Yep.
It's one of those things where I guess age brings wisdom and determination.
Determination, yeah. Yeah, I think for me it's been a matter of being more comfortable with assessing risk as I've gotten older. Mm-hmm. So, one more question. How grown were you when you decided what you wanted to be when you grew up? If you have.
I started out, the day I turned 16, one of our neighbors here in the neighborhood, I used to babysit for him and his wife. And my 16th birthday, he said he called and said he was on his way and picked me up. And he put me in the car, took me over to Tallheimer's, Westmoreland. Mm-hmm. And he says, this is now your job. Mm-hmm. You're going to be working here. And I loved retail. Uh-huh. I thought I'd be doing that the rest of my life, but as the world turns, it's not what it used to be. And I went into other forms of the retail business, but I don't think I really found my dream job. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I did what I had to do, raising my kids to put food on the table, put them through school, and we do what we have to do for that. Yeah. But, I'm still looking for that dream job.
Yeah. Still got a dream in your back pocket you haven't played yet?
No. I think about it every now and then. And to me, it's like, if something's going to happen, it's going to fall in my lap.
Oh.
I'm going to find it by accident.
By accident. Okay. Mm-hmm. One of those serendipity people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everything happens for a reason. I'm totally, the older I get, the more I believe in that.
I am less inclined than ever to believe in coincidences.
Really?
That is true.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's like when producer John had the idea of doing this, I thought it was insane, but I'm really enjoying it. Mm-hmm. And just between you and me, part of the process of the podcast is it's more about the people than it is the subjects. Mm-hmm. In having the idea of just having people get together and talk.
Right.
It really was the porch. Because, when we first started looking at it, and he's all about technology and all of this stuff, and he wants to play with all of the toys. But at the same time, it was like, no, this is not about the toys. This is about people. And as it relates to RVA, I really do want to focus on things that are going on here, recognizing that everything that's happening here is happening somewhere else too. quite often
I think you're
everywhere
right.
else.
I think it's already happened other places, and we're just like
some
the
places,
last of the Mohicans
yeah,
to start
some
realizing
things we're
it.
catching up. Yeah, in a good way and in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's forced me to pay more attention to local stuff, and one of our first conversations, when the panel started getting together, and Leanne and Matthew and Evie and I started having conversations about what we wanted to do, what we wanted to look at, what we want to talk about. And I'm like, okay, so what's RVA? Where's our boundary? Is it RVA as far as Petersburg, or is it all the way to
New Kent?
Does it reach Covington? Is it just Virginia? Is it Delmarva, or is it Nova? I mean, when does our acronym touch another acronym? How far ranging are we? And so that's when we decided that we just weren't really going to get locked in.
Yeah.
We'll run into something that we want to talk about that is either provocative or startling, And I meant to
Thought-provoking.
Yes, I meant to bring my little grab bag. We'll get together and we'll have these ideas about things we want to talk about. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's curiosity. Sometimes it's just stupid. Sometimes it's just something we want to argue about. And we'll all agree that we're willing to talk about it. And we put it in the grab bag. Mm-hmm. Then at the end of the podcast, we'll pull out of the bag what we're going to talk about next time. And the idea is we're not going to talk about it at all until we get back on the podcast.
That's wonderful.
And so, since you have endured the interview process, since you have withstood the questions, I am looking forward to you joining us on the panel every once in a while.
I'd be happy to.
With a toast.
To the porch.
To the porch. Absolutely.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Because the first thing is, we like people. And people can be crazy, interesting, surprising, and producer John doesn't mind capturing it on camera, and he likes to play with the editing, but generally he doesn't do any of the editing for content. It just is what it is. And that's been fun.
What you're doing is even more important now than ever. Because the whole world's gone crazy.
And has forgotten how to talk.
And people that you hung around with for years, you hear them say something, the wrong political thing, or something that you don't agree with, and it divides us. It destroys friendships. And we never used to be like that.
So sad.
So I think that's why what you're doing is very important.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking for people who do feel differently about different things on purpose, just to prove that we don't have to agree on everything, to have a regard and a respect, an appreciation. And I tell you what, I am loving it. I'm excited about you being willing to join us.
Yeah, respect is the big word here. Mm-hmm. People don't respect each other's opinions. And you and I grew up in an era where our parents taught us that you listen to people and you respect their opinions. You can have healthy discussions, but you don't give up friendships. You don't not speak to your next door neighbor because they're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever they are.
Whatever they are.
And, you walk past them like this and not speak. It's terrible. That's the wonderful thing about where we live, that we've got such a diverse community of people.
I love it.
And of opinions. And a lot of us, Mr. Producer and I grew up together.
Yep.
There's not many neighborhoods like this around. So, respecting
treasuring
your neighbors and respecting opinions.
And building, I will stress that anywhere can be a porch. Whether you are leaving the grocery store and you're just smiling, somebody else smiles. You can have a conversation start just through that, just
Oh, checkout lines at the grocery store are the best
if you want to. You know,
for meeting people.
It really is. It's not as difficult as people think, and I think coming out of COVID and lockdown and forgetting how to do things and forgetting how to just be, so much of it is just being. And people are worrying about so many more things than they used to worry about.
People spent so much time alone during COVID. Mm-hmm. All they had to do was watch television and watch the chaos, watch the disruption all around the world, and even in the, even in our city. Yeah. And you just got the feeling that it's easier not to talk to people than it is to interact anymore.
It is safer, and I just. Remember the definition of tolerance that was, you do whatever you want to do, I'll do whatever I want to do. And then before that, one of those old white guys that said, I'll defend to the death your right to say whatever it was.
Yes.
I can't even properly paraphrase it.
You got the gist.
But we all learned it in school when we were going through all those things, all those historical things.
And I think one of the other things that affects it is the fact that, you and I grew up in a time where they taught that in school. Mm-hmm. And it's not taught in school.
Yeah.
Some parents are using school as daycares, and they're not teaching it at home. Their teachers don't get the respect. Yep. And there's a meltdown out there.
I think that there isn't any place safe from the meltdown when you look at how many people are just carrying the meltdown around with them and just holding on. Just holding on. And I think that the more we interact with that purposeful, random, just being an open door, there's a kind of a fearlessness. It's risky. Yeah. It is risky, but I think it's worthwhile. And if somebody is really struggling, you don't know whether you're encouraging somebody to just keep on. The interview that I'm going to be doing, not the next one, but the one after that, is with a woman who is a student. She's an activist in the schools, but she isn't. She believes in parents' rights. She believes in students' rights. She believes in teachers' rights. I think she won't have a problem with me saying that she's got a problem with administration rights. And so I'm hoping to sit down with her in the very near future, and I'm looking into learning more about some of the things that are going on in the Richmond area with the schools. She was telling me that there is an opportunity, that it is federal money, it is state money, and that the city hasn't reached out to get it. And I'm
Wouldn't surprise me any. This is RVA.
This is RVA. Oh, that reminds me. We do have a swear jar. I'm giving you the protocols of the podcast. And we don't have a whole lot accumulated in it. I think there's a good chance that you will be contributing to it if we begin talking about the city. Or wannabe Governor Stoney. Yeah, that would put me to the swear jar. So we'll save that for another day.
Absolutely. I'll come loaded with coins.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to all of you out there. And I'm looking for your input out there in the world of internet. And because, you can find us on YouTube and Rumble, and you can give us comments, and the email address is out there. And let us know if there's something that you want us to look into for you, if there's something that you want us to talk about. And that's it for now. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you. I enjoyed this.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back.
Bye.
Bye. Go have fun on your porches. Bye. If you're with me on YouTube or Rumble, you'll see that I'm taking you on a little tour of some of the green spaces in Richmond. This particular episode is a celebration of natural beauty. Paige exemplifies that. She walked onto the porch totally natural and unpretentious, prepared to relax and chat. She spoke of wisdom, perhaps coming with age. Perhaps. But I know for sure that no matter our age or lack of it, we must take some time to relax and enjoy this good green earth. We create those moments of rest and appreciation. I thought about going downtown, but it's not as pleasant. I'm going to save that for another day. RVA has an abundance of beautiful, open public spaces. Paige and producer John grew up walking through these streets, enjoying these parks. On our walk today, we were intercepted by producer John's mom and youngest sister taking a drive, enjoying the beautiful spring day. Outdoor relaxing doesn't happen these days without some intentionality. We drove past Bird Park earlier today and saw a beautifully dressed couple in the park seated at a table covered in white linen with roses and champagne. On one hand, it looked a little foolish, but it was also provocative, made you wonder, was it part of a proposal? An intimate, if public, birthday party? A celebration of something? Personally, I would have set the table further from the street, but still, it was very sweet. You'll see we walked the railroad tracks to the James River for this amazing view overlooking the expressway bridge. I've lived near railroad tracks all my life, in every city. One of my earliest memories is walking the tracks with siblings and cousins screaming with laughter at the power of the passing trains. If you take this walk, please watch your back and your front. What you're looking at now is Pump House Park. It's one of those places that is notable for its history and crumbling edifice, but also its natural beauty. Both the remains of the canal and the Pump House Ballroom inspire the imagination. I hear this place was wild during Prohibition. A plan was being floated to create a foundation to fix this place up, make it part museum, part cafe, part storefront. Something like that was done at Tredegar Ironworks. You should check it out. Repurposing is a part of life, and I'm not just talking about old buildings. We can even repurpose our memories. Part of the reason that I'm enjoying podcasting so much is because I care about encouraging people. I'll say it as long as I have breath. It's worth the effort to not be fearful of new ideas, new views, and opportunities. Sometimes the new supports the good of the old. It's not all Logan's Run. And if you don't know that movie, Logan's Run, you should check it out. One last thing. Don't be afraid of reviving old dreams. Whether you're aspiring to create a legacy, or you're just figuring out who you are, or maybe you're at the point of wondering if you can grow old gracefully. I say live life. Carpe diem. Thank you for tagging along with us here on the porch. Share and subscribe. Email suggestions. Till next time, be well. And as the CBers used to say, keep the shiny side up.
On the Porch RVA is produced and directed by John Hundley. Your host is Tracy Hundley. Join our community on Facebook and Instagram. Email us at tomatlh@outlook.com. Visit us at www.tomastudiosrva.com. Video of these episodes are on YouTube and Rumble. On the Porch is a 2024 T.O.M.A Studios production.